Now it has to be said before we start our blog that Minnie is watching our every move from inside. How bizarre is that? Right, let's try and get you into a position where you can see me without falling over. Not quite sure how to angle that up. No, it's not going to work. Would have thought that I'd have hang of doing this by now, but I haven't. Might just have to hold it like that. Right. I shall begin by saying that our forum patron called Brian, whose birthday it is today, don't know a whole lot about him, to be honest, but he made a birthday wish that Hughes beat Sarah in UFC 98. And I have to say, it happened, which is fantastic. It was a decision victory in the end. Some of us would have liked to have seen him stopped, but there we are. A win is a win nonetheless, so we're all bouncing around like rubber balls on the forum at the moment with excitement. Hughes finally beat Sarah, and Sarah can now go home and be quiet. Shirk and Edgar was a bit of a surprise for me. It appears that Edgar won by decision because Shirk chose to stand, and I have said for a while that, you know, Shirk might be good at boxing, but he needs to stop boxing against people who are as good, if not better, and he needs to start going back to doing what he was doing before, which was sort of taking them down, even if it was only winning by decision. A win is still a win, and a loss is not a win, is it? Lyoto and Evans. I've decided that I'm going to support Lyoto actually as champion. I haven't seen anything that would make me consider that he's bad in character, and he certainly gave those of us who thought that Evans had been showboating for far too long. Finally, he dealt out the punishment that we had all been wanting to see. Just let that passerby get out of the way before I carry on. So yes, that was good. A little bit sad about the results when it comes to Pat Barry, who lost, unfortunately. We still love him, so I hope he feels better. It is his first loss, it has to be said, so that's going to be extra hard. And Felipe Nova, who lost because of a big balls up by the ref, who decided to seemingly stop the contest for no good reason. It was a terrible stoppage, and he has so been robbed. This, of course, is now the second loss for him in a row, having lost in the tough finale as well. So, anyway, and Chris Wilson, who I had my doubts about because of what happened last week with his being sort of burgled and taken away at gunpoint, he didn't partake, but we're hoping that he's still feeling alright. I want to say quickly that Sooooo is fighting in Dream 9 this week, and I'm hoping that he does well. There are a few other names that I recognise, but I don't really support them. It's not enough to do a prediction video, certainly. Josh Soda is fighting on Thursday, and Manoz is at Abu Dhabi World Trials, so I'm hoping everything goes well for him. In terms of, there's nothing to report in terms of my work this week. At home, nothing really to report there either. some strange looks doing this, you know, on the steps. I have now enrolled at the gym under this gym on prescription deal, which is basically a concessions rate, which is good. It's the only way I can afford it at all. The weight loss in the past 3 weeks, without doing any of that, I think there's been 4 weeks now actually, without doing any of the gym stuff, which is sort of starting now I've had my induction, has been, we lost £8 the first week, we put on £1 the second week, then we lost £2 the third week, and this fourth week we've lost £2 as well. So that's we're feeling good about that, even though it doesn't particularly show. We're still feeling good about it. My landlord is coming to visit me this Tuesday. It's not an inspection; it's something to do with the fire alarms, but he will inspect the property because that's what he does and picks bones. So, got to prepare for that. On the forum, just to say that our forum moderator, VCU Ramfan, Ben, has now graduated, so now he begins life in the real world. Spirit Walker, he has taken part in the AAU Regional Summer Games. He won the first place in the Cumite and the third place in the Kata, so well done to him. And I think the only other thing to add is Travis Luter is opening his new gym, or has opened this new gym. I think it was this weekend. Don't know how that went, haven't heard from him. It's Memorial Day tomorrow, the 25th in the USA, so it's for any sort of British or European people who watch this, Memorial Day for the USA is a little bit like Remembrance Day for us. And there's only one other thing I want to talk about, and that is to say, I can't say anything until this person has gone past. I'm so sorry. I just have to sit here and look like a lemon. Just forget it, it wasn't that important. Because now there's a whole host of people coming along. The story of my bloody life, this. Finally, I'll continue. I was just going to say how annoyed I was. A lot of people may not know this, but there's been a big scandal in the British government over the past sort of month or so about how ministers of Parliament have been abusing their claims system, their expenses systems, and they have been basically putting as expenses things like, you know, their mortgage, or in some cases it's been fraudulent. The mortgages haven't existed and they've still claimed for them. David Cameron in the Conservative Party is saying that we should use this as an excuse to call a general election, and he's made everybody in his party pay the money back, or he's booted them out. The Prime Minister hasn't said very much at all, and the person who was sort of in charge of the claims system, who was a guy called Speaker Martin, he has finally been ousted. Ministers have been calling for him to resign last week, well, for a couple of weeks now, and last week the Prime Minister finally said he should go, even though he refused originally to go. So I don't know what they're going to do about that, but it is our taxpayers' money which is going on these, you know, lavishly expensive lifestyles that they are sort of seemingly abusing. So yes, without saying any more, because it does get me quite angry, and I've only got about 15 seconds of tape left, so, you know, let's just say I'm not impressed.